Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are looking at the Paper Boutique Seaside Fun. We've got the embellishment pad and the paper kit. So in my haul video I didn't show you what came included in these two packs. I wanted to wait until I did this video. So we're going to start with the paper kit. So the papers in both of these are the papers are 150 GSM and the die cut toppers, which is in this pad here, they are 300 GSM I think it is. It says on the front there's 8 designs. What that means is there's 6 patterned papers and then you get 2 sheets of the die cut toppers in here. So you get 2 kind of basic prints. You get the stripes and the spots, and then the other designs are very nautical themed. You've got the really lovely whales. I really love those, and some of them have got like mini lighthouses and things on their backs. I do really love how those look. And then boats, lighthouses, lots of nautical themes in here. I absolutely fell in love with this kit. There are other items that you can purchase to go with this kit. You can get the inserts, you can get the paper pad on its own, and you can get coloured cardstock A4 in size as well, which matches this perfectly. But I only picked these 2 up. You can of course bring your own cardstock into here, and yeah, you can make it work absolutely perfectly. I don't even know how many cards that I made in this video, I can't remember. But all I used was the paper pad. I had my card bases, foam tape, glue, and then I did bring in just one colour of cardstock just for a little bit of matte and layering. So this is the embellishment pad. So again, 150 GSM, 8x8 in size, and this is filled with toppers and sentiments for you to be able to build your cards. So I'm not 100% sure how many. I'm going to say there was 8 designs as well. 2 of those sheets are filled. You can see them here with the sentiments, and you also have the relations as well. And then you have a bunch of those. So what I'm going to do is take all of the, I'm pretty sure it is 8. I'm going to take all of those sheets, and that's literally what we're going to be using in today's card. So the first ones I started off with was by cutting everything down from the paper pad. So you have 2 sheets which have got these 4x4 inch squares, and I just trimmed those down. I'm just shutting my blind because the sun does come around in the evening. You've got circles, squares and diamonds there, all different. And what I wanted to do was create 2 little packs of cards. So I didn't have any card bases that were small enough to fit. Like I said, these are 4x4 inch, but I found these 6x6 inch scalloped card bases in my stash. So I'm literally just trimming these down to be 5x5 inch, and then we've got a room for a little bit of matte and layering. I do bigger borders on these, so I don't do my 1/4 of an inch. In most instances I do 1/2 an inch instead, just so those margins are much bigger. And yeah, the only piece of cardstock that I bring in is this Creative Expressions foundation cardstock. This is in the cinnamon, and I'm cutting this to 4.5 inches square. So again, my topper is 4 inches, my matte layer is 4.5 inch, and then my card base is 5 inches. So I'm just trimming this down. I get 2 squares out of an A4 sheet, which seems a little bit wasteful, but I am going to use all of the scraps. You know, that's definitely not going to go to waste. Obviously if I did a smaller size, I maybe would have been able to fit cut a few more squares out of this. But this is a really great way of using these sort of toppers. They've already got kind of a topper and that patterned paper behind it, so it can be kind of difficult to use sometimes, and sometimes even I struggle using bits like this. But you know, having maybe a smaller card like I'm going to be creating here and just using it as it is, you could go in, if you had a craft knife or a circle die, you could go in and cut that topper and prop it up on some foam tape and then just have that bit raised up. That would add some easy dimension to this. It did cross my mind as something that I was going to do, because I did find a die that was the same size, but I just didn't end up doing it. I wanted to create some basic cards. What I am planning to do is sell my cards more on Etsy. So cards like this are really great just to sell as sets. Like I said, I'm going to end up with 2 sets of 4 little cards here. They're all going to have a sentiment on it, and that's going to be perfect for somebody buying, you know, just a handful of cards. So I haven't uploaded anything onto my Etsy shop for a little while, but I definitely need to do that, and you can find a link in the description box down below for my shop. So now I've matte and layered my topper onto my cinnamon cardstock, I can add that onto the card base. And yeah, I really love having that wider border on here. Again, normally I do the 1/4 inch, but certainly with the square ones, it looks like it's got a bigger margin on there anyway. So it does just fit in really nicely. And you could even do something like this maybe for some invitations. If you were having a nautical themed birthday party, something like that, this would be ideal. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of a smudge off there, off the corner by using just an eraser. It seemed to be like a little bit more of a fingerprint, but I did manage to get it off in the end. So there's the 4 cards for the first pack. So you can see I've got 2 circles, a diamond and a square. And all of these sentiments, I've cut them down and I'm just trying to work out what colours. It was more about the colours that I wanted to match up rather than the actual sentiments. But you have lots of sentiments in here. So there's a couple of really nice kind of positive things about family being everything, you know, great friends and things. There's some really nice sentiments in here, and of course you do have those relative ones as well, and I was going to pop those on the cards, but to be honest, I wouldn't want to kind of pigeonhole those cards by adding a relation on there. You could customize it, and it's really great, you know, because it has like step siblings and parents, it has in-laws, and of course you know, mums and dads and things like that. So yeah, just in terms of selling, unless you had multiple versions of this where you could do kind of lots of different relations, I really wouldn't want to kind of tie those down too much to certain relatives. So I'm just adding some foam pads onto the back of the sentiments after I trimmed them down into little squares, and that's this card set finished. And then I can do the same for the second one, again just trying to find those sentiments. So every day is a new journey, so that's really lovely, but then you have sending you birthday wishes, so you have a really nice variety in here, like I said. And then both of the sheets, you've got one set which is more kind of brighter, you've got the blues and the red in there, and then the other ones you have kind of the browns and the tans and things. So you got there is a rainbow of hope at the end of something. I missed what the end of that said, but I'm just adding some foam pads onto the back of this, again just to add a little bit of dimension. Hope at the end of every storm. The only thing I didn't do in this video was add any Nuvo drops or any embellishments, because I wanted to just be able to stack the cards together without having to wait for them to dry. So I'm going to do that off camera, let them sit and dry properly before putting them in their bags with their envelopes. So I'm just popping the last one on, and that's going to be then both of these little card packs done. And I think just the size is perfect. You've got 4 together, and I just think the imagery is super cute. So on to the next 2. So I'm going to make 2 A6 cards here. So basically what I did was cut down all of the sheets of the embellishment pack, put them to one side, and kind of decided what kind of cards I wanted to create, rather than saying, right, I want to make a 5x7 and then, you know, trying to design something that way. I found it a little bit easier to kind of start with all of my toppers and my sentiments to begin with, and kind of put stuff together and say, right, that is going to fit on, you know, this size card. And all of the card sizes I've got today, very basic. We've got the 5x5s, which we've done. We've got a couple of these A6 size. We have got just one slimline card, and then we have a bunch of 5x7 cards as well. So not used any dies in this. So like I said before, the only things I've added in so far is that cinnamon cardstock, the card bases themselves. This is the Time for Tea Designs foam tape, the 25mm, and then just the Nuvo glue, and that's literally all I've added onto here. So it's really what I call easy crafting. If you want to sit and just make a bunch of cards, this is the perfect kind of kits to do that. So with these, I cut out some of the patterned paper, and then I'm adding some foam tape onto the back of these topper pieces, and then just popping those sort of in the middle but slightly nearer the top, and then I'm adding a sentiment. I'm not cutting the length of it, just simply the width, just to have it as a nice banner, but no matte and layering on these 2 cards, super quick and simple. Next, onto my slimline card. So within the embellishment pack, you do have this little strip here with the panels. What I think would be really nice is if you used one of the other sheets and used this same piece and then trimmed out those mini squares and then did a little bit of decoupage. So don't forget you've got multiple sheets of everything as well. So you can cut into other pieces and just make things pop up a little bit more. I've done that certainly with the other ones. I remember one of the I think it's the Winter Gnomes, I think it's called, that a card I made last year. That was a Paper Boutique kit, and I cut out one of the gnomes, cut out the same gnome and kind of decoupaged the images up. That really works perfectly. So for this slimline card, again, I'm not doing any matte layering on here, just taking a piece of that patterned paper. I'm propping up this banner here with some foam tape. Then we can add our sentiment on here as well. And this, so the card I think is 8¼ inch, and obviously my paper pack is 8x8, so it just fits perfectly on there. Then onto my first 5x7. So I am going to bring in a piece of the cinnamon here just for a little bit of matte and layering. So you've got this lovely banner. Again, it looks like it's already matte and layered. You've got then that circle topper in the middle. So, you know, they've pre-made some interesting toppers for you. This card didn't end up being exactly how I thought it was going to be, because I ended up cutting the paper, the patterned paper width to the same width as this topper, which I wasn't planning to do, but I was trying to keep that wider border on the matte and layers, and I'm happy with how it turned out anyway. So we've got the card base, we've got our cinnamon layer, we've got our patterned paper. So this is a really lovely sentiment. Family isn't an important thing, it's everything. And I always love like the mix of fonts that they put on here as well. And actually having the card base exactly how it is now with just that patterned paper, that does inspire me for a card in a few cards time that I did end up recreating using the leftover from that piece of 8x8 cardstock that I used there. Then we can just pop our sentiment on, a little bit of foam tape, a little bit of glue, and then that one is finished. Again, it's just something a little bit different, and you're really not using too much here. Then you get a sheet of strips. You have 4 which are from the patterned papers, which are landscape, 4 which are portrait. So I decided I was going to use all of these on one card, but I thought that's not really going to make a lot of sense, because you can do that of course, but the papers are going to be in a different direction. So I'm going to make 2 5x7 cards here. So cut a piece of just basic white cardstock, and I'm going to use these strips. I was hoping to have enough over to create a full panel, but because I thought these were going to be wide enough, they're about 1 inch wide in the strips, but I didn't. But you know, we just went with what we had. So the piece of paper, I'm pretty sure I cut to 4.5 by 6.5 inch. Added some glue on there, and then just added the strips on a diagonal. So again, when I trimmed it down, I was hoping the pieces might be long enough to go on both of the corners, but again, they weren't, so I just use it this way. And I am going to use these extra pieces anyway, because I had more kind of left over. Then we're going to do the portrait one. So again, I'm going to do it on an angle, and I really love how these came out. I thought it was just an interesting different of using strips. If you had just normal cardstock left over, if you had, you know, strips from the paper pad left over, it's just again different ways of using scraps and strips of cardstock. So I'm just adding glue onto the paper just to hold that down. Then any white card that I've got remaining, I just trim that off. Well, I will be trimming that off in a minute after I have trimmed off just that excess cardstock, but you could still make use of those. So as I said, we're going to be trimming those pieces off. You could leave it as it is. I could have glued it straight onto the cinnamon cardstock and it would have been on there just already, but I decided to put it on the white just so it had a little bit of back into it. And yeah, I just thought, you know what, we'll have it as something a little bit different, a little bit interesting. And I've actually cut, this panel is actually 1/4 inch smaller than what I'm cutting here, which is for my mats and layers. So again, it was just a really interesting card design and something to kind of remember. So I was doing this when I forgot that this was both for landscape, not a portrait, but I really, yeah, love how these cards turned out. So I'm just going to glue the cinnamon cardstock down. I'm going to add a foam tape all onto the back of this panel just to prop it up. And again, something as simple as adding foam tape. If you don't have a lot going on your cards, this is ideal for that. So I really love how that looks, you know, with those 4 different designs and then just that raised edges as well. And I could have taken this a step further, like with the sentiments, I could have cut them out, you know, with a shaped die maybe. I could have propped that up onto some foam, but I just glued it flat onto the card. Sometimes you don't want it to be super bulky. And then for this second card here, I didn't realise until the end actually when I was going through all the cards again for the end of this video that I didn't check which way I was sticking this down. So I end up with my card being the wrong way round, so the fold is on the right, not on the left. So all I did for that was literally just trimmed off all of the white on the card and then just stuck it onto another card base. So I really love, again, how this one turned out. This one does fill up more of the page than the other one does, but I really love how this turned out. Again, if you've got you know, patterns that go top to bottom, a card like that is going to be perfect. And then I didn't want to waste these pieces. You've got this lovely little angle cut on here, you've got a straight edge on the other, and I thought, well, how can we make use of these? I've done that in like other One Sheet Wonder cards, you know, trying to use up all of the scraps. So this is an A6 sized card. I've cut down then again a piece of that cinnamon cardstock, and I'm going to add foam. So I'm going to kind of stagger these. So I've got the foam on the top. So we've got 4 pieces here. The first and the third strip are going to be on foam, and then strip 2 and 4 is going to be flat, and then I add some foam onto my sentiment, which is going to be right at the bottom. But again, just another simple way of using up any scraps that you might have. You can just cut these on a diagonal if you wanted to. You could add just another piece of patterned paper behind there rather than doing it onto something like the cinnamon cardstock. For my sentiment, I cut that on an edge as well. Nearly cut it wrong twice, but we got there in the end. And like I said, then just adding a foam pad to that sentiment and adding it to the bottom. So again, just another really simple card. So this is the last card we're going to create in today's video. This is A6 in size, and this was the card that I mentioned where I got the inspiration from the other card that had the banner across the middle that I used this patterned paper for. I didn't end up cutting it right. So maybe I'd had slightly bigger pieces left over. So definitely that saying, measure twice, cut once, just so you don't waste any of it. But I really liked how that patterned paper, because it's so beautiful, is just the main focal point. I then created this like little banner bit that came down. That was just from another one of the scraps from those previous cards that we created. And I just had that coming down from the top. It still had that angle on there as well. And then I'm simply just going to cut a sentiment down, pop it onto a bit of foam tape, and that's going to go over that. And that's all of our cards for today's video. So we're going to go back through them. I'm pretty sure there were 16 cards here. But so in this embellishment pad, you get 6 designs. You get 4 embellishment like topper sheets, and then 2 which is filled with sentiment. So all of these cards have literally been created just using 4 sheets of the embellishments or the toppers, and I just think that's so brilliant. It's such good value for money, and you can create some really beautiful cards. So we've got here the 2 sets of 4 5x5 inch square cards using these toppers and a simple sentiment. So those 2, that was 2 of the sheets in just creating those 8 cards. Then we have got these 2 A6 cards just with a panel, little bit of patterned paper. So we barely touched the patterned paper here. We've got a slimline card using the patterned paper and the long panel. We've got another 5x7, which is using that strip panel again. We've got the 2 5x7s using the 1-inch strips, which you can, again, like that was 1 page in the pack. This is the moment when I realized I'd glued it on the wrong way, and I thought I'd sort it out after the video. We've got an A6 card again using the scraps from the previous card, and then we have this last one which is super simple, which is just showing you that patterned paper, and that can be literally the main focus of your cards if that's what you want it to be. So I hope this gives you some inspiration. We've still got tons of kit left, so we're definitely going to be pulling it out again. What I would really love is a little bit of feedback from you guys. So I really love the Paper Boutique pads. I, don't buy them all the time. Obviously, I do like all the other aspects of card making, but I do really enjoy using these kits. And I've done quite a few recently. I've done a few one sheet wonders as well recently. So I'd love to know, are you guys interested in these videos? Is there any other pads by Paper Boutique maybe that you're interested in me buying? Let me know and I can take a look to see if I'm interested in those. And see whether we can purchase them. I do have a few kits left over as well. Maybe we should have a look at creating some more cards and kind of trying to use up those pads as well. So do leave me a comment down below just so I know if you guys like this, or if there's any other sets that you'd like me to have a look into. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. We haven't even done a one sheet wonder on this pad yet, so that is a whole bunch of other cards as well that we can create. So I'm really excited. I love this paper pad and I've just had a lot of fun creating all of these cards. So that's going to be it for today's video. Again, leave me a comment down below, like it, give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. But that's it for me. Thanks very much for watching and happy crafting.